you can get away without missing out. Whether you're traveling across Idaho or just spending more time outside, the Connector keeps you up to date with the local stories that matter, from wildfire season to community news. Stay connected to Idaho with the Connector, Idaho Daily News. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Gemma Gaudette. You're listening to Idaho Matters. Okay, imagine this scenario. Your phone rings and you don't recognize the number. You answer and someone says there's a warrant out for your arrest and you have to send them $1,500 in Target gift cards right now or police will come to your door. This is a scam. And Brendan Kirkpatrick has seen people fall for it many times. He's a detective with the Financial Crimes Unit at the Ada County Sheriff's Office, and he has spent more than half his career investigating these types of crimes. He spends a lot of his time educating the public, as well as his fellow officers, on how to spot and avoid financial scams. In fact, he's teaching a class. It's called Financial Crime Awareness, a guide for all ages, at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute in Boise on Tuesday, August 25th. But before then, he's joining us live right now to give us some tips on how to not get scammed. Brendan, welcome to the show. It's really nice to have you with us.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you very much.
So if we could, I'd like to maybe start off with a real world example of one of these scams. What can you start there? And what should you do if you get a call like that one I just talked about?
The most popular type scams are the urgency ones where your social security number is being used for drugs in Texas, let's say, and you have to pay X amount of dollars to make it better. It's everything down to that, what you've talked about, have a warrant for your arrest. They create this sense of urgency, and that's the problem. They used to have a saying called trust but verify. There's no longer trust. It's always verify. And your two best friends are your car and your phone. A lot of times they say banks are having a problem with your account and you send money and it'll make it all better. And that bank employees are also involved with the crime. So don't go down there. No, go down there and find out if you have a bill or something due. Before you send money off, like you said, gift cards, cryptocurrency ATMs. I don't know if you've ever seen those or anybody out there has. The City of Eagle has, I believe, 5. We're trying to remove those. In the Treasure Valley, there's well over 100 of them, and they're just like an ATM, but they take your money. So there is no recovery with cryptocurrency 99.9% of the time. Once you put it in the ATM, it's gone.
So what would you say are the main red flags in a scenario like this one? Is it the unsolicited phone call or is it the gift cards? I can't imagine having a warrant out for your arrest and any law enforcement needing gift cards.
Correct. Gift cards, we've seen a trend. Gift cards really are not in play that much anymore. They still are. But what happens is the cash register, the person working the register senses something's up and, will talk to the person and then they realize they're being scammed. It's a lot easier to get them down to cryptocurrency. And so with that being said, the main part is the unsolicited phone call. I just tell everybody, like I do on my cell phone, let it go to voicemail. But if you do pick up an unsolicited phone call and they are asking for money to solve a problem, that is a huge red flag. Money doesn't solve those problems.
And who should you be calling then if you get a phone call like that and you want to report this?
You want to make a police report. If you get a call from, let's say somebody says you have a warrant for your arrest, you call that local police department or drive down there. You can make a police report with any of your local agencies after the fact. Attempt reports are kind of steered away from to take because there's no loss. But I would encourage everybody, if you get your social security numbers being used in Florida, go drive down to the social security office and ask them if there's a problem with my social security number. And you'll generally get the answer right then and there.
My understanding is that you've been investigating white-collar crime and cyber crimes for much of your career. Can you talk to us about how much more sophisticated, I guess, have these crimes, these scams become over the years?
They become very sophisticated. When I first started, I don't even want to talk about how long ago. It used to be ID theft. That was pretty much it, or a bad check, counterfeit check, where they'd open an ID theft, they'd open a credit online, or buy a mattress, something like that. Now the bad guys have evolved into, they realize they can get a much better reaction and cooperation when they create urgency and emotion and tie those together. They have scripts. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't know who you are per se. And most victims personalize it. They have no idea who you are. You're just another number in the big lottery ticket of victims.
From all of the time you have spent on these types of crimes, can anyone become a target?
Absolutely. It's not a matter of if you're going to become a victim, it's a matter of when. It can be something as low as you're sitting at home watching TV and you actually get a notification from your bank that $1,000 was taken out that you didn't authorize, all the way to the other side of the spectrum of you being an active participant and losing. I've had a $2.1 million investment lost that was gone, couldn't get back. Entire life savings, person sold their house. So it's a matter of when it happens.
So can we talk a little bit about the victim in these cases? Because it seems to me people are sometimes they're embarrassed, or maybe they're afraid, maybe they have some shame. So they don't come forward. Why is it so important to report these types of crimes?
It's I hate to say it, but it's a matter of statistics. And I get that a lot of people don't report crimes, this type of crime. So it doesn't get the attention it deserves. If everybody reported that was a victim, came forward and made reports, it would show a lot more victims. And therefore, I believe state legislatures and other legal bodies would be able to move laws forward and deal with a lot of the stuff that could be preventable, such as a cryptocurrency, ATM machines, gift cards, mandating certain laws, etc.
You've worked on hundreds of cases involving millions of dollars of stolen money. You just mentioned someone losing $2.1 million. How often are you able to solve these types of crimes and catch the folks who are doing this?
If we're talking strictly the crimes of fraud and financial type crimes, remove a counterfeit check that some bad guy gets here and goes to a local bank account. Let's just stick with the anonymous phone calls, the text messages, and the emails. In 6 years, I have never had a suspect in Idaho. They are all overseas or on the East Coast. I don't know why they like the East Coast. They like the East Coast. Getting money back is a whole second matter. Most of the money that we have gotten back to victims has been actually stopped at the point of sale or shipping. I should say, like UPS. Elderly person comes in and says, I need to ship these books to my husband overnight in a very small package. It's $140 to ship this package overnight to, let's say, Seattle. The person at the front counter or the manager sees this and says, oh, something's wrong. And a place like UPS, which is private, they can look in the package. So the victim leaves. They open the package and it's $15,000 of cash. So they notify me in Eagle, because it was an Eagle UPS store, and we find out who the victim was, and we meet up. And I meet at their banks. We hold the money, and I meet them at the bank that they withdrew the money from, and we walk them all the way through the deposit process, because I've had victims in the past give the money back and it never goes back to the bank. They just go to somewhere else to ship it, and they ship it off.
So how often then do you recover money, let's say from like someone's bank account, right? Or maybe like a credit card, for example? Because I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had fraud alerts on my credit card, right? So you got to call the bank. And then you get rid of that credit card. They send you a new credit card. And if you're lucky enough, your bank is the moment they walk you through, yes, this was fraud. Yes, that charge was fraud. No, I didn't, yes, I made that charge, not that charge. It seems that banks have gotten better over the years when it comes to not making you have to pay those fraudulent charges. Is that a correct assessment?
Yes, there are laws on the books that prevent them from charging the victim a lot of times active involvement too with the victim of you getting a bill or you being on the hook or going to collections for some credit card charge that's not yours. The banks have gotten better in detection level. Bad guys have gotten better at how to get around that sort of stuff. Banks are not very cooperative when it comes to, okay, bank, who opened that account for my client? I need to get the IP address, an internet protocol, and some other identifying informations. And they turn around and say, you got to get a search warrant. And we say it's a fraudulent account. You've already deemed it as fraudulent. Just give us the information. Nope, go get a search warrant. So we run into difficulty with entities like financial institutions. But getting the money back, sometimes the receiving bank will flag it and stop it. And it would normally sit in the queue for them to come back for like 60 to 90 days. But if it came from, let's say, your account and you were notified of the fraud, well, you close your account down. Now the receiving bank has no way to send it back to you. So we do what's called a seizure warrant and send that to the recipient bank, get a cashier's check in your name, and then give the cashier's check back to you, and you can go deposit it at a bank.
Can you also talk about freezing credit accounts? I mean, what is that, and then how does it help keep people safe from identity theft and just theft in general?
Right. There's a credit watch and a credit freeze. I encourage everybody, and in fact, I've argued your credit should be frozen from birth. But a credit freeze is exactly that. It freezes your credit. It's supposed to be do not pass go, do not open an account. You're not allowed to use that social security number or run credit for anything. That's the purpose of a credit freeze. And it actually works. It's very, very effective. There's a credit watch, and sometimes they cost money. If you're a victim of a crime, a lot of times the banks or the credit companies waive that fee. But a credit watch is simply that. It just watches your credits, and you get notified, by the way, thank you for the purchase of that $50,000 car. And that's it. There's no stop mechanisms in place like a credit freeze. And credit freezes are done through the three major credit bureaus. I encourage everybody to go online and create an account with each one. You're allowed one free credit report a year, so take advantage of that.
You've actually created training for your fellow officers to help them recognize these types of financial crimes. I mean, how important is education to fighting this type of crime?
I think it's second to none. I mean, I can teach a patrol officer what to write and how to write a report, but that's all after the fact, after the damage is done. The upcoming class that we'll be putting on there at BSU will have real life examples, not just statistics about, however many million people, or everybody's got a friend who knows got scammed out of 5,000. But I'm going to tell you in the class, we're going to go over how the scam took place, what the emotions were, what the triggers were, and avenues the victims should have taken before. And they need to get that programmed into their head that it's okay to be emotional, but don't act on the emotion. Verify the emotion. So that's the target.
Well, what's your best advice for anyone who might face one of these situations? Because it seems like the likelihood is everyone's going to get some type of fraudulent phone call at some point.
Sure. It's verification. You get that call that you have a warrant for your arrest or your grandson, and they can search the internet and find out who your family are. There are plenty of websites out there to do that. And they'll have people screaming in the background, verify, verify, verify. If they're saying your grandson's in Mexico and it's your son's son, call your son and say, hey, well, where's Michael? He's right next to me washing the car. Wow, that would have saved you $10,000. So pick up the phone, get in your car, drive down to your bank, verify there is an issue. And if there is, you can take care of it at the bank. But I'm going to guarantee you there's not an issue.
So you'll be, as you said, you'll be talking about financial crime awareness next Tuesday. It'll happen at the Osho Lifelong Learning Institute in Boise. You mentioned, you'll be giving these real life examples, right? Which seems more powerful than just the statistics. So with that said, I mean, what are you hoping that folks take away from your talk next week?
Well, I want them, we're trying to convert them from the emotional response to the logical response. So, and that's the key. We're going to go over all emails, text messages, phone calls, everything the bad guys do. And everything should be a pause and a stop. Absolutely a stop. So we're going to go over all the red flags and just trying to reprogram people into thinking that, okay, if there is a problem, I want to verify the problem before I take action on the problem.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Such good information. It's truly unfortunate we have to have these conversations so much, but these crimes just seem to be, getting more and more savvy and impacting so many more people. So thank you for your time today. We've been speaking with Detective Brendan Kirkpatrick with the Financial Crimes Unit at the Ada County Sheriff's Office about how to avoid getting scammed, especially, as I said, as these scams get more savvy. He'll be teaching a class. It's called Financial Crime Awareness, a guide for all ages. It will be at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute in Boise on Tuesday, August 25th. And thanks so much for listening to Idaho Matters from Boise State Public Radio. Do you have thoughts about today's episode? Make sure you email us at idahomatters@boisestate.edu or reach out on our socials. And if this episode meant something to you, text it to a friend.
The fatal shooting of a teenager at a protest in Seattle has gone unsolved for 6 years.
This is open in your face. How are there no answers?
Our investigation has uncovered new evidence and witnesses who say they've never talked to police.
Did police ever call you?
Not once.
Listen to We Keep Us Safe, a new true crime series on the Embedded podcast from NPR.